What if history didn't happen the way you were told? Not just one detail, not one event, but entire stories we repeat without question. Today, we're uncovering 10 history myths you still believe, and why they're wrong. And stay till the end, because the final myth changes what it even means to be human. 1. Vikings wore horned helmets. Close your eyes and picture a Viking. You see horns. Almost everyone does. But no Viking ever fought wearing a horned helmet. Archaeologists have uncovered thousands of Viking artifacts, weapons, shields, armor. Not one horned helmet. The idea came much later. In the 1800s, opera designers wanted Vikings to look wild and brutal. Horns looked dramatic, so they added them. But here's where it gets weird. Horns would have been useless in battle. They could be grabbed, twisted, broken. A real Viking wanted speed, not decoration. 2. Napoleon was short. Napoleon is remembered as small, weak, almost cartoonish. But in real life, he was average height for his era, about 5'6". That was normal in early 1800s Europe. So where did the myth come from? British propaganda. Political cartoons exaggerated his size to humiliate him. But the story doesn't end there. Napoleon surrounded himself with tall guards. So next to them, he looked short. History mistook perspective for truth. 3. People in the Middle Ages thought Earth was flat. This myth feels obvious. People back then were ignorant. At least that's what we're told. But medieval scholars knew the Earth was round. They learned it from ancient Greek science. They even calculated its size with surprising accuracy. Sailors used the stars. Clergy taught astronomy. So why do we think otherwise? But here's where it gets weird. The flat Earth myth was invented centuries later. It made modern thinkers feel smarter than the past. 4. The Great Wall is visible from space. You've heard this fact in school. It sounds impressive, but astronauts say it's false. From space, the Great Wall blends into the land. It's narrow, earth-colored, broken in places. Cities shine brighter than it ever could. But the story doesn't end there. This myth existed before humans went to space. It was guesswork that became fact through repetition. 5. Pyramids were built by slaves.
Almost there! Keep pushing! Heave together!
Movies show chains and whips. But archaeology tells a different story. Workers were paid. They lived in villages. They had doctors. Bones show healed fractures, meaning injured workers were treated, not replaced. But here's where it gets weird. Their graves were placed near the pyramids. That honor was never given to slaves. 6. Julius Caesar said, "Et tu, brute." You can hear the line in your head, but Caesar likely never said it. The quote comes from Shakespeare. Ancient historians recorded no dramatic final words. Some say he spoke Greek. Others say he said nothing at all. But here's where it gets weird. Silence may have been more shocking than speech. 7. Salem witches were burned. Salem is linked with fire, but no witches were burned there. They were hanged. One man was crushed to death under stones. Burning happened mostly in Europe. Salem used different punishments, but the story doesn't end there. Fear spreads faster than facts. 8. Knights couldn't move. In armor, armor looks heavy, but it was carefully balanced. Knights could run, jump, even climb ladders. Tests show full flexibility. Armor weighed less than modern military gear. But here's where it gets weird. Knights trained their entire lives to move this way. 9. The Dark Ages were dark. The name suggests collapse. But progress never stopped. Universities formed, engineering improved, art evolved. The term Dark Ages came later. It was used to insult the past. But here's where it gets weird. Every age thinks the one before it was foolish. 10. Cavemen were stupid. This might be the biggest lie of all. Early humans were intelligent. They made art, music, symbolic burial rituals. They understood seasons and stars. Some had larger brains than us. But here's where it gets weird. They weren't primitive, they were different. History isn't broken, it's rewritten, again and again. So next time someone says, "This is how it really happened," ask yourself, according to who?